The Mickey Mouse Club is back after 21 years, and JOLT Cola is about to hit stores again. And we've got lots more retro news coming up right now. What up to my peoples? Welcome back to Retro Crunch, your nostalgia news show that is all about current pop culture, movies, music, and games that relates to all things 70s, 80s, and 90s. MIC, see you real soon. KEY, why? Because we love you. MOUSE. Now that's the theme song of the Disney Mickey Mouse Club, which is getting a digital reboot with the new name Club Mickey Mouse. You might remember many stars that got their start on the Mickey Mouse Club in the 90s, like Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, or even Ryan Gosling, which may ring a bell. Well, all these stars were once Disney hopefuls and turned into huge movie and music stars, and it looks like Disney is now planning to again resurrect the club with a new generation of hopefuls. But this time they are taking a social media approach by casting 8 new Mouseketeers that, unlike their previous club member generation, are already huge social media influencers. And each has a large presence on the platforms like Twitter and Instagram, which in today's world is as important as being on TV. The new club is going to have a mainly digital presence on Disney's Instagram and Facebook's Club Mickey Mouse pages, doing online skits and music videos and such. And it actually just premiered on September 8th. So you can already check it out now. I'll link to their page down below for those that might be interested in the reboot. So tell me, do you remember the old Mickey Mouse clubs from the 70s or the 90s one? I'm kind of curious as how you feel about the digital reboot. And next, the once famous soda called JOLT Cola is making a comeback. JOLT, which was heavily ingested by old school hackers and video gamers in the mid-1980s, has seen its share of love and criticism. It was a popular drink that basically hit you with a rush of caffeine, and according to JOLT's parent company, JOLT will be carried in your local Dollar General store for about 1 year. I'll be honest with you guys, in all the years that I remember JOLT Cola being around growing up, I actually never really tried it. And from what I remember about it, people said that it tastes like a cross between RC and Pepsi. So I was never actually really interested. I'm a Coke snob, guys. Anyways, once I hear an update on when JOLT will be released in stores, I'll let you retro heads know about it. And then guys, we're going to talk about some first ever car news on the show. The car maker Lincoln is bringing back the Lincoln Continental after a 15-year hiatus. It's a far cry from the one that I grew up with as a kid, but I do like this new style. Alright, some of y'all are going, alright, this is not retro. What are we talking about? And you'd be right. But this is my show. And hey, I have a real affinity for the Continental because it's a car that I remember my parents owning when I was a little kid. My parents were some of those hip and groovy types that like to have a little bit of swag when it came to cars. And their car of choice in the early 80s was the Lincoln Continental. Ours was a cloth top maroon Continental. And I think it was the late 70s or early 80s model, and I mostly remember sleeping in the back window as a kid. Yeah, that thing was so huge that you could sleep full length in the window. Well, if you were like 3 feet tall, and at the time I was. Hey man, kids didn't have to be in a car seat back then, so that's just the way it was. And man, that thing was smooth. There was nothing like riding over hills in a long ass Lincoln. That boat would just go gliding down the hills. No bumps in the car, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, I just thought I'd give you guys a glimpse into my reckless childhood. Alright, so next let's retro flash through the last of the not quite noteworthy news. And first is that there's a Great American Hero reboot in the works at ABC. It's still in the early stages with the pilot episode being ordered. But something interesting of note is that the lead character will be a female this time. And really, this isn't huge news either, because the show originally ended back in 1983. The retroactive last episode actually had the main character passing off the costume to a female that was supposed to carry on the name. And that was like in 85 that I think it finally ended. Hey, it might be a good way to start over the show again. I actually loved the show growing up, even though the special effects sucked, and the show only lasted a total of 45 episodes. And next in news, good old Jeff Bridges, who starred in the 1980s sci-fi Starman, has been trying to strum up some interest for a Starman 2. During his recent promotion of his new movie, The Kingsman, The Golden Circle, he brought up his interest in a Starman 2 reboot, and said he has made some notes on how the story would play out, but wouldn't talk about that in case the movie was made. I enjoyed this movie growing up as well, even though it was a pretty slow movie and not really a whole lot of action. Sort of reminds me of Enemy Mine, which starred Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. Also, for those that remember Debbie Gibson, the popular singer from the 1980s, she's going to be on this season's Dancing with the Stars. Alright, Retroheads, so if you liked the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the weekly retro news. And also, remember that we put out new videos every Thursday. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.